Thanks to each of you, Rotarians. The discussion we'll have today by me and by Alicia and by Devin concerns the idea of planning for the future, setting a strategic goal of where our club goes so that we can harness and synergize the efforts and talents that we have. I'd love to just continue with the thought that Shri introduced today. That was a perfect message, Shri. I stand in awe of the things that happen in our club. I'm reminded that just recently we had a club member talk about his connection to Nepal, and they had that terrible earthquake and damage there. And our club sprang into action almost immediately and raised many thousands of dollars, which were sent over to Nepal to help through the Rotary Club there. I think of our International Service Committee, the great work that's going on. This concert that John mentioned this past Thursday night was great fun. Some 60 members of the club, members and friends, met at the Red Butte Garden Amphitheater. We were treated to an amazing musical experience. And on top of that, we got to eat and we got to enjoy each other's company. It was delightful, and it was a perfect kind of event. And when we're all done, we have over $4,000 that was raised that will help our polio plus efforts, eradication of polio in the world. It's just amazing the things that are going on in the club. We just saw a great example of it with the John Benyon and the scholarship program. We have a high school scholarship program also, and some 20 plus high school students that receive scholarships. Some of us remember when they came and spoke to the club. They're amazing young people, the future of the world, and we can be happy about it. I'm going to miss lots of things. Acts of kindness, interactive Rotaract, our youth programs, Rotary Youth Leadership Program, the once a year RILA program we were talking about. Our members are well-traveled and generous, willing to give and to reach out to others, willing to roll up sleeves and do work. Being the president of the club has been a real privilege for me because I see some of the many things that happen in the background that they aren't heralded from the housetops always, but there's so much of good work going on. I compliment you, I thank you for the service, and it's an honor to serve with you. So as we begin the process of planning, the thought that was through my mind as we began this was, how can we get all the abilities, all the talents, the resources that we have, and make them even more effective? One of the things that I find interesting is we're all busy. It's hard to do everything all the time. Rotary itself, we're members of an amazing elite worldwide group, and the talents and the values that we share. These are the things that really, the reasons we're members. We enjoy the lunches, we enjoy the education, but these core values are the reasons we're members. And I love that fourth one. We apply our leadership and expertise to solve social issues. Rotary International went through a planning process, in fact goes through an ongoing planning process. And the core values that are Rotary are expressed in those three rings around the outside of the circle. Focus on service, public awareness, and supporting the clubs. The service component is done by us as a club. And the process of devising what will be done, who will be involved, how will we fund it, that's the process of getting input from members, input from suppliers, boards of trustees, and that's the same process we attempted to follow here, to have your input and your support, because we want it to be an opportunity for us to chart where our club can go and how we as individual members can participate in that. I just love the picture of the boat. They're all going a rowboat without everybody pulling together. It's not as good as when we unify. And that's what we want as a club. Here's the process we started through, and you'll hear more about it as we talk today. But we did some surveying, and many of you participated in the survey. Thank you very much. Some 78 members, I believe, or 88 members. I forgot the number, but Devin will tell us. It's a good-sized chunk of our club participated in supplying ideas and suggestions. And then we had a group of about 10% of our members chosen by a diverse population. We tried to make sure we had new members and old members and young and old and ethnic and by women and men and professional diversity also, so that we would have the best chance at getting information that will be helpful for our club members, for our club planning. And that's the process we went through. I'm honored to work with Alicia and with Devin. Let me just mention what a talented, and I suppose we could have chosen any from this room or others in the club who maybe aren't here today. But these two especially are amazing, talented people with hearts wanting to help. They want to help us do more. And that's the idea behind this. So I'm going to turn the time to Devin. You know, one of the things that we leaders have said is there's more to do than we can do individually. And that's why we've invited you to bring friends, bring your associates to participate with us in the club. Additional members will help us. And for those who are here and new members, we invite all to be involved on a committee. Help out at the committee level where the work gets planned and the projects get done. So those are the goals we have. I turn the time to Devin and he'll talk about the survey process and the information we've received from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. When I'm done, you'll have heard the long and the short of it. If you see me fidgeting, I'm not nervous. Well, okay, I'm not nervous, but I just want more steps. I got a new Fitbit. So let's go over a couple of things. So we had 78 responses that we considered. I think we actually got one response to the survey after we had done the vision. I went back and looked at the online survey and someone came along after. But we had 19 multiple choice questions and some pre-response questions. So the vast majority of the people in this room contributed directly to the vision process. Okay, that's the key message for you to take home today. We listened to you in developing the vision. I just want to point out 22%, nearly a quarter of the people who responded to the survey were members of less than 2 years. So we got input not just from the old white men who have been around here running Rotary for a long time, but we got a diverse, we sought and received input from a diverse group of people, including new members. I want to just highlight a couple of answers, and I could take you through all of them, and it would be fun and interesting, but we really don't have time for that. But I was pleased that 80%, 88% of the club members recognized that we support polio in our club. Well, polio eradication. Okay, good point, Scott. I heard you thinking that. And 88% believe that we promote our service projects well. That's what I'm worried about, because I know we promote our dine around really well. Is anyone unclear on the fact we're having a dine around in a couple of years? Raise your hand if you don't know that. I sometimes worry we don't put the same emphasis on our service. The survey said, yes, we do. 88% of the people said members feel welcome. Now, of course, I worry about those that didn't say yes, because we want 100% to feel welcome, but it is clearly a good sign that most people feel like new members are made to feel welcome. We worked in developing our whole plan. we worked from an existing mission statement. This is the mission statement that has been on our website for years. No one really knows where it came from. We assume it came from Rotary International, but I can't find it on their website. But it's really good. So we did not try to reinvent the mission of Rotary as we were trying to think about what our vision should be. So this is what we came up with, and Sophia Keller, Sophia, are you here? I didn't see you earlier. I don't think Sophia's here. Sophia Keller was instrumental in creating the vision statement, and I want to read this with you. Can you all see the screens well enough to read this with me? I want to make sure that you own this now as your vision. This is not Devin's vision, it's not Alicia's vision. Alicia's wonderful, but it's not hers, it's ours, right? So let's see if we can do this together. So on three, 1, 2, 3, Club 24 is dedicated to building our community and a better world through service backed by the power of Rotary International. Not bad, not bad. You guys did great, and I think this is a good vision for our club. I hope all of you will agree. You know, give us a little sign. Do you agree that that's a good vision?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel good about that vision? We were struggling with how long our vision should be. And so we came up with 3 drafts and ultimately decided to keep them all and give them new names. So our motto, let's see if we can do our motto on 3, right? So our motto for the club is 1, 2, 3, building our community, changing the world through service. Okay, you guys are awesome. Okay, and then finally, let's see if we can do our tagline all together. 1, 2, 3, service with impact. Now, I want to just stop on that word for just a minute, because one of the things that came out, I think, very strongly from the vision process was a renewed emphasis on impact, on measuring and having impact. And I think you should be inspired by that. The people sitting at the tables with you are much more concerned about doing good and having impact in the world than they are about the Rotary brand or about making money or almost anything else. You are sitting with the greatest group of do-gooders in the whole city, and you should be proud and honored to sit among them. I know I am. Now, let's talk a little bit about values. We did not try to reinvent values. I think the 4-way test is perhaps the greatest test of ethics in history. I don't know, Quinn, what do you think? Are you okay with 4-way test as a great measure of ethics? Okay. And Quinn is the world expert on ethics, so I think we can accept that as a statement of values that we appreciate. The last part of our exercise in trying to formulate our vision and goals was to look at mostly the survey data. Again, we really were thoughtful about trying to extract insight from that. And we looked at, conducted what is called a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. I'm sure most of you have done this in one context or another. We tried to do this for the club. We observed some great strengths. Members feel welcome and that we seek diversity. We have some opportunities that correlate to that, though. Our membership has been declining, so there is an opportunity for us to grow membership. The Marriott will hold more people, okay? We can broaden the diversity of this club. I didn't check ethnicity when you were coming in this morning, but I don't see any African Americans in this group. We have not adequately yet represented the ethnicity of our community, so we can improve on the actual diversity of our club. We can ask our membership for more input. We have proven through this process that you really want to participate in directing, guiding, and inspiring the club. We can do that again and again. Go back to that well, I'm sure. With respect to weaknesses, we see that we could do better PR. Our membership, as I mentioned, isn't fully representative of the community, and it is sometimes difficult to get all of the members to participate in things. With respect to threats, and we want to kind of call a spade a spade. we often see that when members' employers cease paying for their dues, and it becomes a personal responsibility, oftentimes at a time when they no longer have employment, we lose those members very frequently. And so to suggest that money isn't an issue, it would be silly. So we see that as a threat, especially if the economy were to turn south. There's certainly increasing competition for members' time, and people seem less interested in joining groups today than they did a generation ago. And so we do have some headwinds that we're working against. And so with that, Alicia will take us through the rest of the show.
Well, Mike and Devin, I just have to say you did a marvelous job in the warm up here. Now comes the boring part. That won't be boring. But I just want to say, as you can see, we have really experienced a big process here. We started this in January with the surveys, moved through collecting small group survey, large group survey from all the participants in the visioning study, or the visioning brainstorm that we did. And throughout, as Devin said, we have involved you. And so as I go through the session, I'm going through goals and goals and what we call strategic initiatives, as well as then tactical elements of the plan that we're going to turn over to you. And if I can direct you to the screen, our visioning session participants identified our club goals, and the goals are what we looked at. What do we want to achieve? What is the ultimate achievement or achievements that we want for the club? And then strategic initiatives, what will guide us to our goals. And I have to compliment the Rotary International meeting facilitators who came to our session, because they engaged us to the nth degree. Many of you have been in strategic planning sessions, and you have the stickies, and then you look at the whiteboards that have the greatest number of stickies of what you think the priorities are for the club. And these 30 participants, we spent 4 hours going through step by step by step and paring down and paring down and paring down the most important elements, goals, and strategic initiatives for the club. And the goals are the ultimate things we're striving for. The strategic initiatives are what will guide us to the goals, but they're like, what's the kind of big idea that will help us in membership or help us in public relations? And then that was done initially by everybody in this room and then the people who were at the brainstorming session. But now the tactical part comes in. The tactics and the programs, the activities designed to achieve Club 24's goals and strategic initiatives. And that's where we'll be turning to you. So as I go through, we have 9 goals and 9 strategic initiatives. And I'm going to give you one example on the next slide of one goal, strategic initiative, and some tactics. We really are turning to the club to help us with the tactical and the programming part of it. We really need the committee chairs and their committees as you're doing your strategic planning. And I had the opportunity to sit in on Marianne Wander's membership committee. I was blown away. She's a step ahead of us. She's got her plan ready for the year. And my next slide deals with membership, and I don't even do justice to what Marianne's already got the wheels rolling. But if you look at this slide, this is an example of how it all works. So the club goal, the second goal was to increase membership. Okay, that's a goal, increase membership. But the strategic initiative behind that is to grow membership to 500 by 2018. And it's not just through growth and adding people, it's through the retention of our members, which is why it's so important that we listen to you. What keeps you here? What about service to the community rings your chimes? And in what venue will you stay committed and engaged in Rotary? And so if you'll stick with me on this, we want to increase the membership, grow it to 500. It's a lofty goal. We have 3 years to accomplish it. And if we can hang on to retention, we'll do a very good job, I think, of growing this club. Then the tactics, and I threw these up here before I knew everything that Marianne was doing. The membership committee then designs tactics and programs to accomplish the goal in its strategic initiative. So the tactical examples I've included is increased committee size, but Marianne had a robust committee attendance this morning. Use membership tracking programs. There are some very excellent programs, and I don't know what her plan is, but that might be something that would be a tool. And ramp up membership involvement subcommittee, which is a part of the membership committee, to retain members. If we then move on to the goals for the club, we identified 9, as I said, and you may agree with all of them, you may not agree with all of them, but as I said, this is a real process of elimination that we did in our brainstorming session of how did we identify what were our priorities. So we want to identify what the club stands for, we want to increase membership, enrich the community through club activities, increase awareness of Rotary in Club 24, cultivate youth membership, foster business networking, have real impact somewhere in the world, clarify fundraising goals, and measure the club's impact on and success in touching 10,000 lives. And you're probably going to be hearing quite a bit about this last one over the next 3 years, because we had wonderful discussion in this brainstorming session of how many lives does our club touch? I mean, what are we doing internationally? What are we doing with students through our tutoring and our scholarships? And John Benyon's example today of what we did in helping kids now get to college and have a scholarship to enter college. There are so many ways we're touching the community that we're actually going to do something very exciting to help the club track this. So this next couple of slides are going to repeat the goal and then say what the strategic initiative is. And if you would please think of these as I go through them, how do these affect your committees? How does this affect your membership in Rotary? Because we really want your engagement, and through our committee work and our individual work, we should be able to achieve these goals and strategic initiatives. So again, what does our club stand for? Club 24's board of directors will define this. This is a big one. We've got our values, we've got our mission, we've got lots of things to say what do we stand for as Rotarians. But maybe there's some more specifics we can define for our club specifically. And then increasing the membership. I've already gone over this with Mary Ann's committee. Enrich community through club activities. This was a really big one because, as Devin had expressed at the beginning when we were talking about, was that the vision? One of our vision statements was the impact on the community. There is so much we can do through our club activities to impact the community, and we will want you to let us know, and I think we're pretty good about letting each other know what we're doing. And certainly Floyd will have many opportunities to hear what the club is doing as we try to actually measure our success. Increase awareness of Rotary and Club 24. Through a lot of discussion at this brainstorming session, we kept hearing marketing plan, or we could call it a PR plan. But we need a plan, just like we're putting together a plan for this. And we will talk to the PR committee, and I know Floyd will be engaged with them in terms of what can public relations and marketing do to get the word out. I think we've been pretty good about it. We've been letting the world know. We invite the media to attend our key events. But what we need is a roadmap. We really kind of need a roadmap each year for what we're going to do. Cultivate youth membership. There was also a lot of discussion about Interact and Rotaract really becoming engaged in our club, because we've got mentors out there leading committees and leading the Rotaract and Interact groups, but we probably, and I think this is a consensus at our meeting, want to invite them to join us at our luncheons. Include them, and let them see what we're doing as a Rotary club and get their engagement. And then foster business networking. This, we thought, would be a good alignment with the membership involvement subcommittee. And these will help to add value to the club if we are fostering membership, fostering business networking. And then have a real impact somewhere in the world. This was a very big discussion as well. The International Committee and Rotary Club 24 Foundation committees, we want to educate all of you about what we're doing. And how many here have been to International Committee meeting where they've actually presented their work? Oh, we need more hands in that. It's probably, if you ever see it upcoming, make sure you attend. They have been some of the most exciting presentations I've heard here at Rotaries to hear what the International Committee is doing. It's dramatic work, it's exciting work, and certainly it will contribute to our measurement of touching 10,000 lives. Clarifying our fundraising goals, we're actually turning this over to Floyd and the board of directors to help us measure our fundraising goals, because or take inventory, I should say. There are many different fundraising activities going on, but it would be great if we could actually inventory, figure out what they all are, and look at them as a program. Maybe even reinstate a fundraising committee. We don't have one at the moment, but that could be somewhere we go again. And then the last one of our top strategic initiatives is measuring the club's impact on and success in touching 10,000 lives. And we actually are going to create a new committee. Right now, Mike and I are on this committee, but we welcome all volunteers who want to help join the measurement committee, because we are going to be in touch with all of the committees and say, how are you touching the community? How are you engaging? What are you doing that's really impacting lives through the international programs, the educational programs, acts of kindness, environment, the peace committee, and many other programs. And then we're actually going to take that information and create an annual report of the impact that this club is having on 10,000 lives. And we're planning on doing a media day when we actually present at a luncheon this report with what we've accomplished, because it will be visual, it will be quantifiable, it will be an overview of everything this club has done in terms of the world and our local community. And we think this is one of the best ways to let service-minded people in the community know what we're doing and to draw them in and to get them engaged with our club, get them engaged with Rotary, because they can see the impact. They'll see we're touching 10,000 lives. They can see that they can be a part of that. And it's ambitious. There's nothing in this plan that's not ambitious. But we're pleased with the work and the engagement that everybody has involved. And again, committee chairs. How many saw the copy of the strategic plan that Mike sent out last night? Okay, almost everybody. Well, look in your inbox, your email box, because Mike sent the full plan out to every single Rotarian, so that in the future, if you are a committee chair or you're on a committee and you say, what were those things those three people talked about at that strategic plan session, look at it and see how your committee can get engaged with the strategic plan and where you can contribute to it through your actions and programs. So that actually concludes. We zipped through this.
It's great.
And we'd like to open it up for questions, and depending on what your question is, we'll repeat it, or suggestions. We are totally open. This is a living document that will evolve over the next 3 years, and we would love to have your input, and we can change it, evolve it, and make it better. So do we have any questions? It's
maybe Mariette can give us a little more detail on her thoughts too.
for her committee?
Yeah.
Mary Ann, oh, it's robust. It's impressive.
We're gonna do the program next week, right?
Next week. Yes, you can say they're having a membership drive kickoff next week.
Oh.
And we'll hand over tools to the membership.
Did you know, Ms. Paul, they're having a membership drive kickoff next week? Oh, you'll hear that. Oh, that's a good prompt. Okay, kudos. You get some round star. Okay, any other questions? No questions? Yes.
I've been on a lot of strategic planning initiatives. What I found is that there's a lot of time put in, a lot of flurry at the beginning, and then it just tends to be put on the shelf. I think it's going to have a dynamic force. It's got to be monitored, report back, perhaps on an annual basis. These are our goals, here we are in relation to these goals. Here's the modifications we've made. So it really does remain front and center over a period of time.
Lloyd, did you want to address that or make a comment about that as our president?
I like that, John, and it occurs to me that we have 2 of the 3 of this group are on the board currently. There's no reason we can't have a monthly report to the board and consider thoughts and concerns at that point. And I think if that's happening on a monthly basis, we'll be preparing for this annual bill that we were talking about, which I'd sure like to see before the 1st of July, so that can become an annual thing in each one of the presidencies. Is that the kind of direction you're?
Well, not the whole thing, at least maybe on a monthly basis, some part of it where there's progress that's been made. So we sort of see that it really is making a difference here and there as we go along.
Yeah, great idea.
That's a great idea.
Thank you, and maybe you can add even more with this group.
Yes, Pam?
Is it realistic? Is the 500 number realistic? Is that something we really can do?
Just
I'd
saying
love
here,
to
Chloe.
see it. I would be so excited to see it.
This president had a nice discussion with the membership committee, and in this year, we want to make sure that is this not on?
Oh, where does it go on? Oh, it's not.
This president had a discussion with the membership committee, and I want to make sure at the end of this year that we are net 300. As has already been mentioned, we have members that do all kinds of things. They take extended trips. They retire for one reason or another, and some of them have even retired permanently, which we don't get to see at all. And we want to make sure that at the end of this year, by July 1, we have moved to at least a net 300 members. We're about 247 right now. So if we can get to that point by July 1, then we'll lay the heat on Chicago next year.
I'd just like to point out that we have hit 500 in the past.
Yes.
So I want to say about 1991, we were over 500.
I think everybody's aware of that. The year that Skip Baines was the president, we were just short. Skip, 525 members. So there have been many more clubs formed in Utah since then, but that's not an excuse. We are the Salt Lake Club, and we need to grow.
San Antonio, I think, is over 700.
Oh,
Yeah, we are still able to go to the large club conference, which if we looked at our membership, we probably wouldn't be there, but it's a historic thing. Because we've been there in the past, which is usually the executive and the president, go to the large club conference, which happens annually, and we're considered one of the larger ones.
okay. Yes.
I applaud the goals on diversity. So my question is, what are some of your retention strategies and attraction of diversity?
Mary Ann, will you be addressing that next week? Will that be part of your recruiting day or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm coming up there.
Oh, you're coming on up. Please come on up.
Sorry. Okay, since my name has been mentioned a few times, I decided I need to come up here. To answer that question specifically, we have goals of going after ethnic diversity and gender and age specifically. Next week, we will be talking about those strategies, but I want to say that we are having a special women's members of Club 24 meeting September 22nd. So that's a plug. You'll all be getting an invitation for that. But we are going to strategize how to attract more women to the club. So that's next month. So this is goal 1, diversity in our group. Increase membership, but we also realize that.
I'm against the diversity.
You're against it?
I didn't against one.
He represents, he's our Indian.
Yep.
All right.
I think it's really important. There'll be a whole bunch of you who will be sponsoring new members. And I think the sponsor clearly is the one that needs to push that new member. That might not be the right word, but help that new member become a committee member. I don't think that ownership is really there until our members are sitting on committee. We don't really care how big the committees are. We want to see opportunities for somebody to feel like they're wanted and needed, and it's just not a matter of coming to work. They're participating in the activities.
Stay here. Other questions? Yes, Jim.
Mike, is there any consideration being given to social media as a way to promote the club? Because families who talk to their parents could be potential.
Sure. And that's in that goal, strategic initiative. I'm sorry, Alicia's been lecturing me. To do with letting the world know, with communicating what we're doing and communicating our invitation.
Could
So
I?
yes, the answer is yes.
Could I address that?
Yes.
John, and this applies to everyone in the club, it's not the club's job to use social media to promote the club. It's your job, right? Every one of us, right? So if you are not on social media, get on social media. It's your job. Pam? That applies to you too. I don't want you, no one is exempt. I don't care how many gray hairs you have, no excuses. We all have to take responsibility. If we want to grow this club, we have to take responsibility for sharing the message about the great work that we're doing, and we do that on social media.
Bravo.
I have one more question.
Pam and then Shahab.
Okay.
Last two.
I think when people were about.
Stand up, Pam. Maybe you should stand on the chair.
It doesn't make a lot of difference.
You know, I've been humiliated as a dinosaur already by you. And so no more about the short people. No.
I'm sorry.
I think when people are about to leave the club, they give other people around them the invitation, oh, I don't know whether I'm going to do this anymore. I haven't been for a while. I didn't hear it. I wasn't inspired about the program. That's when we need to get on them. We don't want to lose anybody. We want to bring new members. But we don't want someone to leave just because we haven't paid enough attention and given them the encouragement, oh, come next week. Next week's program is going to be fabulous. It's our job.
Thank you,
to
Pam.
keep members
So
coming.
for those who couldn't hear, Pam's encouraging us all to be aware of those who maybe aren't here or who are less than completely involved, maybe fellow committee members you haven't seen for a while, and for each of us to do our part to reach out and encourage and understand. I think this can happen, I really agree. We're a large enough club, 247 of us, that a person can be gone for a few weeks and maybe nobody says anything. It's all of us that have to participate and fill in that gap. Shahab, yours the last question.
It's not a question, I just wanted to say about next week's program. It's going to tell us about how we deal with poor generations in the workplace, as well as trying to recruit people to come to our service group. I've heard the presentation, and Steve Perry does a really compelling job that talks about how we reach these various constituencies, whether it's through racial diversity or gender diversity, but as well as age in terms of the social media, how do you reach to them? And I think Devin made a really important point. The issue becomes time. And I think next week you can hear a little bit more about how you can effectively raise various methodologies to try to reach people. So I think I don't know how it works, but it works great that the membership committee is presenting and we can see how we can try to reach them. Please come and look around you. If there's somebody you don't see here today, a friend of yours, call them and say this. Come next week. It's a really important meeting.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was terrific. In fact, Shahab, just a reminder that you mentioned Steve Terry is here next week on engaging the new generation, and we'll hear some more exciting things. Getting on committees is important. I was a Rotarian for a while and kind of wandered around. Getting on the committee, if you're not already on one or two, there's room for, typically they don't take a lot of time, those of you who are newer, but there were times that I was kind of deciding in and out, and the more involved we get, that it becomes long life, long-term Rotarians, and that's what we really need. And I need to be thinking of one or two people, and so if we each think of 2 or 3 people and get one, that's doubling our membership over the next couple of years. I don't think that's too hard or too much to ask. And there's some great people you rub shoulders with, so and we can figure out a classification for them. Don't let that. We're good at parsing classifications as a club. We'll find a spot for them for sure. This week's book fits in just perfectly. Communities. I got a chance to glance through it. It's fantastic. What are communities? This will go to the Franklin Elementary School Library. We donate a book each week, and we invite our guest speakers to go up and read the book if they get a chance to. But thank you so much for the information. And please look in your inbox and go over those materials and follow up. Yes, one.
I think that our whole club needs to thank the group that has put this together.
Absolutely. We've all had a hand in it and continue to have a hand in it. I don't think this is a printed document. It's a very evolving document, and please involve them with your discussions or comments. So at that point, we will be here next week at the Marriott for the generational presentation. And at this point, the meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Oh, Devin. I could turn mine over to Devin. Oh, no, I